Hello and welcome to another episode of the Optimize Show. Every Wednesday morning, folks. I hope you're listening, watching, sharing. We're on YouTube, all the socials. Please help us. We want to get the show out to more and more people so that we just help the community, help all different communities of optimizing their life, their business, etc. I am David Mamano, your host. Today I have on the show our youngest guest by far. How about that for a record?
That's such a compliment.
It is, yeah. So Leah Leverich. Did I say that right? Leverich.
Yes.
So Leah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to do this.
You just turned 20.
Yeah, a few days ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am excited to enter my 20s.
Yes.
I'm kind of done with the teenage years. Let's get this going.
You've moved on.
Yes, I'm totally ready.
Yeah. My daughter is 19. She'll be 20 in February. So, and she's in college.
Yeah.
And you're not, which we're going to talk about.
Yep.
But it's for me to think that my daughter could be on this show. I have to think about that. You know. So,
yeah, we're in the same boat, me and her.
I should introduce you guys.
Definitely should.
She's fabulous as well. So usually on the show we have CEOs of large companies, HR directors of large companies, or leaders like we've had the mayor on, we've had Bob Duffy on from the Chamber of Commerce, etc.
Yep.
But we have Leon, who's 20. And why would I have Leon? Well, you are a very unique gem in the world of young adults because you have decided that you are taking a different path.
Yes.
I'm going to let you tell a story, but you, through some anxiety and deep breathing and just experiencing life, decided that college was not the path for you at this point, and you decided to become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So you have a great podcast, which I've listened to a few episodes, Decision Day Podcast.
Yes.
You have been an entrepreneur. I want you to talk about when you said when you were 12 years old, bath bombs. So we got to tell us about that. And you currently also work with Brendan T. Adams, and you do a lot of video work, social media work, etc. So let's just start at the beginning. Like, what happened to you? What made you think like, what? I'm not going to follow this traditional path. I want to be different. I'm gonna go down a path that most teenagers don't go down. So just tell us about your thinking about that.
Yeah, so to go all the way back to 8th grade, like you said with the bath bomb business, bath bombs were a trend, 2017, and I was like, okay, I kind of just want to make them. I was bored, I was a kid, and so I was like, okay, National Junior Honor Society, we had to do some volunteer hours, so I thought if I make these bath bombs and sell them and then give money to charity, that counts as my hours, and then I'm doing something fun that I love. I kind of built up that business. I love the creative side of it, and it was kind of my first entrepreneurial journey, but at the time I had no idea. I was just like, okay, mom's making me make 50, but at that point she was like, okay, Leah, if you're gonna do this, you gotta stay on top of it. So she was kind of like my supervisor in a way, and I really liked that endeavor, but I ended up giving a lot of money to charity, and then as I got into high school, I was like, okay, bath bombs aren't really my thing anymore.
Right.
But
so you were becoming an entrepreneur without even knowing.
Right. I didn't really know what it meant. I just knew that I liked doing it.
And for those people that don't know what a bath bomb is,
oh gosh,
what's a bath bomb?
It's not as violent as it sounds. It's literally just like a little ball or a little shape. It's super cute, colorful. You put it into your bath, and it emits scents. I haven't talked about this in so long. Scents, and it fizzes, and it just gives you a nice bath experience, Lush, that whole time period. I just jumped on that wagon, but I forgot about it while I was in high school, and I just started focusing on school and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But college was never really something that I looked forward to. So then eventually, while I was trying out different careers and job shadowing people, nothing was feeling right. And I was just thinking back to, wait a minute, I liked what I was doing with the bath bomb business, the being my own boss and the creative side and selling a product. I really enjoyed that, and it kind of felt like it came easy to me. And then also considering I've had Instagram since I was 12, which is probably crazy to a lot of people to hear, but I've grown up with social media. So when I had the opportunity to work with Brandon, as you mentioned, doing his social media video editing in my junior year of high school, that was my first real job. And I still have it to this day. I've grown since then, but I really liked being able to create my own schedule, and the video editing part came naturally. So I kind of grew up with that as I continued to go through high school. But then when it came time for my decision day,
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually had a decision day, but we had a literal day. I didn't know what I wanted to do because I liked my job, but it wasn't something that was really aligning with college.
Yeah. Well, totally connected with you from the start, because as we've talked about, when I was 25, 5 years older than you are, I started my first business, my first official business, called Next Step. It was a magazine that, what did it do? Oh, it helped high school students with life after high school. So when I found out from your mother, who by the way is the famous Sandy Waters, she was on PXY forever with Scott Spezzano, and now she's on The Buzz for, we think, 9 or 10 years, right? So
a long time.
And I know your mother very well because we also did a show together, kind of like this, called Rock Stars, ROC Stars.
Look at this networking.
Oh, it's crazy. We were bound to meet. But I actually watched you grow up because your mom would post you guys like in the car. You know, it was very funny stuff, right? So. But I started Next Step magazine, and the whole idea was to help high school students with life after high school. And I had 3 buckets: college, career, and then life. So college planning. But I knew everybody wasn't right for college, so I also wanted to do career planning. And we would do articles on if you want to be a welder, if you just like all these different careers where you didn't necessarily have to go to college, because I thought that was a great option too. You know, a friend of mine, Jim Malone, who's very esteemed in the college planning market, he has a great saying: "It's not how smart you are, it's how you are smart." Right, and we all are smart in a different way. Some people are supposed to be a doctor, some people are supposed to be a welder, everywhere in between. What is your gift? What is your innate talent? And does it require college? If not, then you don't necessarily have to go to college, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So love what you're doing.
I wish I had that in my senior year, or even knew about it, because I know you have since stopped doing that. But to know that there was no linear path and that college wasn't for everyone, because it really still to this day, I think it's evolving now, but it did still feel like, okay, what college are you going to versus what career do you want to enter? And I wish somebody would have shifted my mind to think about the career aspect first and to know all of the options, because careers are infinite, and the trades and working right away, versus just narrowing it down to a college. I don't know. I don't know where I want to spend all that money and all that time on something I don't even know what I want to do.
In college, so when I went to college, right, I went to college way back, you're going to think, you know, this is like ancient times.
No.
But from 1987 to 91.
Okay.
Right? And I went to SUNY Buffalo State School, and it was $5,000 a year.
Wow.
For everything, living on campus, right?
See, I would do that.
See?
Might as well.
I know, but and then I also was considering Syracuse University, but that was like $20,000 a year. You know, now, what a bargain, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though, like to go to college and you're not sure what you want to do, you have to think twice about that. What's the ROI on that, right?
It depends on the person, honestly. I just didn't want to jump into something if it didn't feel like it was truly right for me, so that's why I took a semester to just kind of keep figuring things out, and I actually applied to college for interior design and I got in, but at the end of the day, I really liked the job that I had and making money and entering the workforce and networking. So I was just like, would I be going backwards if I go to college and take the liberal arts versus me already entering the workforce?
Yep. So really mature, right? Like
Thank you.
not a lot of young people think like you. What do you attribute that to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'm not really sure. I think it's just mindset, and I think I never thought like this while I was in high school, because you're a product of your environment, like your surroundings. And in high school, everyone kind of morphs into the same person, depending on who you hang out with. So I think once I had that summer off to prepare myself for college as I thought, I really had that time to understand who I was, what I wanted, what my personality was, my ideal career, my goals. Like I had that time away from everything to figure out myself, and I think that really helped. But also, the maturity comes from being in the room now, traveling to business events with so many adults, that I actually sometimes feel more comfortable talking to adults than I do people my own age, just because I'm so used to being in that environment.
Having like mature conversations instead of like talking about college parties or something. Right?
You know, they're both fun, but I'm better at one of those over the other.
But there must be a lot of pressure when you were in high school to go to college, right? Like all my friends went to college, and if I didn't go, it would have been really weird, right? How did you handle that? Like, I mean, there's different types of peer pressure, right? And like, was it a tough decision to be like, I'm not going to be like everybody else?
Yes, it honestly was. I think my friends, I never had anyone like judging me for what I was doing, but none of them really understood my career from my junior year or my job that I had doing the video editing. So I was already kind of used to doing something a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I just kept reminding myself that it's my decision that I have to live with for my life. Just like anyone who listens to Decision Day, I reinforce that statement because it's their decision.
Yeah.
And so don't let a parent, a friend, someone in society tell you what path you should take when you're going to be the one dealing with that. But I also I have old-fashioned Italian grandparents who have since come around to the idea of what I'm doing. But originally it was like lawyer, doctor, engineer. And
or you're a failure, right? Yeah.
I was like, okay, I tried doctor. I shadowed Dr. Nana Duffy, dermatologist, and I fainted on that job shadow. So I was like, okay, check that off the list. We are not going to be doing that.
Right.
So I was like, I was actively trying things. It's just those didn't work for me. And it was difficult in the first year after I graduated in 2022, after that first year, to hang out with my grandparents and be like, okay, you have to trust me. Like, I do want to take this quote unquote non-traditional path, which was hard to wrap their minds around, especially social media and everything that I'm doing. It's kind of a foreign term. But I overcame that now. I had to prove to them with the numbers, honestly, the financial numbers
The
of
data.
like.
They wanted the data.
Yes, my grandpa's very analytical. He's so smart with the money side. So I was like, Grandpa, look, I'm fine. Like, just let me keep doing this.
No, you'll have no college debt. That's big, right?
That's another part of it. But yeah, I just felt comfortable. It felt like going to these events, these were my people. I'm telling my sister now that she's going to be a sophomore, as she starts to job shadow, like, do those feel like your people? Do you feel comfortable? Does that feel right for you, honestly? That's how I got over it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about your parents? I know a lot of parents would be like, you are going to college. You know, like if my daughter said, I'm not going to college, I might have a tough time with it, but then if she convinced me, I could see myself being, okay, let's see how this goes. I mean, were your parents shocked, supportive, somewhere in between, came around?
Now that you bring that up, I remember a specific, we used to have, while I was junior, senior, we used to have Sunday meetings, which I dreaded because we would just meet in our family room and then I would have to talk to them about who I job shadowed, what colleges I was thinking about, what research I did. And I remember bringing up the idea of, can I just not go to college? Because nothing was clicking and I wasn't really excited about it. And they were like, what do you mean? No, just pick one. Like, what path are you going to take?
Right.
And so I think I've just proved to them over time, and they've seen the networking and the opportunity. And now that I've kind of paved the decision day of helping young adults who also feel undecided, they see that bigger purpose behind it. So I'm very grateful that my parents are supportive about it. But I do understand for a lot of students, it's like they don't really have a choice.
Right.
But it goes back to the decision is for yourself. At the end of the day.
Yeah. So you said Decision Day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Decision Day. Your podcast name.
Yeah.
When did you start it? What is it about? And how are you helping people?
First of all, did you have a decision day, an actual day in school?
Well, I don't remember that. I know by May 1st we had to make a decision. Like, that was like the final, we had to decide where we were going. I had already decided, so it was no big deal for me.
Okay.
But May 1st, traditionally, I think that might have changed by now, but colleges required you to make a decision by that day.
Yeah, actually, I think technically still decision day is May 1st.
Okay.
But I'm jealous of you you were one of the people that probably showed up with your college merch, like you were ready to go.
I was ready to rock and roll.
I was not.
But little side note here, I was going to be a dentist. Right, I went to UB because they had a dental school and a great pre-dental major. I wanted to be a dentist because my mother's cousin was our dentist. And growing up, I'm like, I want to be a dentist. And I did an internship the summer before, just like you did. And I changed my mind. I'm like, I don't want to be a dentist. This is not for me. I'm like, why did I want to be a dentist? Well, my mother's cousin, our dentist, had a big house and a red Porsche. So when you're a 14-year-old boy, and you're like, I want to be a dentist, right? No thought of like, does it light my soul on fire? Is this really my innate talent of what I'm supposed to do with my life? No thoughts like that. I was nowhere mature as you were.
No, I feel that. The only reason I tried dermatology is because I looked up how much they make at their peak.
Right,
and I was oh, I'll look into that.
Don't choose a career for the money, right?
Exactly. But I started Decision Day January 2023 because I did the whole portfolio for interior design. I applied, and then I ended up getting accepted. But as I've mentioned online multiple times, the acceptance email said, congratulations, first name.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And I was just like, first name. If I'm going to spend my time, my money, my energy at this school for 4 years, they got to put my name on it at least. So I kind of took it as a sign. I was like, I can't be the only one feeling this uncomfortable.
Very impersonal, yeah.
Yes, this rushed. So I started the podcast to find like-minded students, high schoolers, or even young adults. And it started as me just documenting the weird path that I was taking and seeing, just in case it didn't work out, like I had this documented. And now it's evolved to career exploration, advice on adult life, and finance 101.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. And so who will be a typical guest on your show? Like, can anybody listen, or is it really focused on high school students?
Ooh, it's focused on the students or any young adult who is feeling undecided or unsure, but also I feel like because of the adult life aspect, anyone can listen because there's great knowledge and wisdom on there, but also the parents, if you're a parent listening who has a student who's undecided, or you just want to give them an extra resource for entering the workforce, it's a great resource to use. The episodes contain, I'm trying to hit every career out there so that it can be that resource of like, oh, I want to be an engineer. Let me listen to this episode. And then you can kind of get a feel for that career and what education's required, how to get to that career. So it's very specific. I keep them pretty short because young adults, we don't have a long attention span.
Right, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most.
Yeah,
right?
And then the finance aspect, because in school I took finance classes, but nothing prepared me in the very specific way of where to put my money. So my grandpa and I, now that he's come around, he's super smart with his finances, and we talk about investing and saving and credit and all of those little terminologies that we
Have you had your grandpa on the show?
Yeah, me and him do it together. It's like the bonus episode.
Oh, I love it.
Yep,
That's
I
classic.
fully converted him. Now he's doing video, he's doing audio.
He's going to become like a YouTube star.
Yes, I want that to happen just so I could be like, see, look what happened.
Does he have the Italian accent too?
A little bit, but he came here when he was 11.
Okay, so it's
not as much.
A little bit, right?
Sometimes it comes out when he gets really passionate.
I mean, like you, I have a lot of family from Italy as well. And the accents, I could picture like, you got to save your money, right?
Okay, it's not that dramatic, but no, actually, I don't even know. He's trying to stay away from all that, the stereotypes, but he is very, like, he's self-taught, and he was already having these conversations with me when I was like, I don't want to go to college, so he had to give me all the statistics of why I should go and the differences, which are constantly changing, of students with a degree versus people who don't have one. We've just kind of accumulated all of this knowledge that he would already be telling me when we get breakfast every Sunday, and I'm just like, I need other high schoolers and young adults to hear this because it is powerful. The money aspect, once you do find that career, you need to know what to do with that money.
Do you monetize a podcast, or is it more just a labor of love and marketing for you?
It's a free resource for the students because no young adult has the money to pay for that.
I used to give the magazine out free.
It needs to be free. So really sponsorships, like if there's businesses that are looking to target the young adults, open to sponsorships for the podcast, or endorsements are working together, but that's really the monetization side of it.
Great. Have you thought about, or maybe you do this already, coaching / guiding young adults about life after high school?
I have considered doing some sort of course on, for example, LinkedIn, like how to set up a LinkedIn. I know after you graduate college, that's when they start to tell you to put one together sometimes. But I have a friend that I was just talking to, actually. She didn't know what LinkedIn was, and she's my age. And I was like, wait a minute. You've never even heard of it? Okay, we got to change this. So I'm working on offering some sort of course like that to help them understand these basic things and the specifics of how to do it, because personally I'm very visual. I need to know exactly what it is, how to do it. Like when I ask David, what do you do for work? I need to know exactly your 9 to 5 year work schedule. What are you sitting down and doing? So if I could explain that to them, LinkedIn being the example of how to set one up, something like that I think might be valuable.
I love it. I mean, a lot of podcasters don't make any money on their podcast, but they have an upsell product. And a lot of time it's coaching, online courses, etc. So, maybe I'm giving you some ideas.
You are. I wish I had a notepad. I would write this down.
We'll talk afterwards. So, very good. Excellent. So, you just turned 20. If you were to create a vision for yourself and think about, like, where will you be when you're 30? What do you think Leah's going to be doing when she's 30 years old? Any ideas?
Stressing me out a little bit. Any ideas? I think because my career right now is so unique, I would have never even thought that this existed while I was in high school. I'm kind of just open to whatever opportunity presents itself through the work that I'm doing. But I do know that the main purpose behind it is to help empower women in some way. That's like what lights me up, I've noticed. I just said in a video recently that I kind of reminded myself, but if young adults can think about when they were in elementary school doing the projects of poverty, water scarcity, endangered species, any of those types of problems, whatever one of those lights you up, maybe try to direct your career towards that because it gives a purpose behind it. So right now, if I'm 30 and my job has to do with empowering women, I think that would be great. I'd be fulfilled. Now it's helping young adults and high schoolers, but both of those go hand in hand for me.
That's true. That's true. Well, I wanted to have you on the show because, like I said, a lot of times we'll have the CEOs or other type of leaders about how they optimize their organization. But I want to have you on because you are optimizing your journey, and not a lot of people, whether they're 19, I mean, you were really 18, or 50, et cetera, have the courage to optimize their journey with what they really are supposed to be doing based on their unique talents, right? Yeah. And it's funny. I get all, probably like you. I get these morning motivational emails, right? And one of them I got this morning was all about it's your God-given duty to use your gifts to help other people through a career.
Yeah.
And but a lot of people are influenced by pressure, parents, other people to do things that aren't completely in line with who they are.
Yeah.
And they live somewhat, maybe they're doing something good or something productive, but they're not maxing out their gifts, right?
Yeah.
As far as what they're naturally good at and bringing that to the world, right? So I want to have you on because I feel like from a very early age, you get that. And you're like, and I know it must have been tough with your, old-fashioned Italian grandparents, your parents, even friends going to college. Like you really had to buck a lot of trends and have a lot of courage to say, I'm going to do this even though there's so much pressure not to.
Yeah.
Right? So
thank you.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm over that hill, if that's the phrase. I'm on the other side of that. But you're so right. I think what really helps personally is just knowing what I want, like specifically writing out the goals and what I want my life to look like. Like I have, I make a vision board every new year. And I set it as all of my wallpapers on every device. And it really works just to have pictures of like, this is what I want my year to look like. But that really helps with optimizing what I want because I'm subconsciously looking at that every day and it's going into my subconscious like this is what I want.
There's a saying, you become what you think about.
Yep.
Right?
You know it, yeah. I've heard that one.
So are you allowed to share what's on your vision board?
Ooh, maybe. Well, okay, actually.
Was it being on this show? Was that?
I have one of Natalie Portman. I look up to her, but I have one of her sitting being interviewed. So
all right.
It works.
It happened.
And I made that January 1st and I'd never been on an interview.
That's your doppelganger, Natalie Portman, right there.
Really? That's the biggest compliment. Honestly, you just bumped up on my list.
There
you are
we go.
Number one
we were
right
talking
now.
about like my doppelganger, I don't say that word well, is Screech. If anybody knows Saved by the Bell. We were trying to figure out yours before the show. I think we got it. If you cut your hair a little shorter, we're all set.
That is such an honor. I love her so much. But yeah, stuff like that works. Just having a specific, for me, I'm visual, so an image of what I want. But yeah, being interviewed, look at this.
All right, you made it happen.
Cameras, the setup, everything.
You made it happen. It's only August, right? So.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Leah, if people want to get in touch with you because they're inspired by you, they have questions, they want to work with you somehow, learn more about your podcast, et cetera, where do they go?
Everywhere. Hopefully I'm found on Google now easily, but leahleverich.com is my website, at Decision Day Podcast on social media or decisiondaypodcast@gmail.com. And then if it's a young adult listening, Leah Leverich on LinkedIn is a great place to start because they need to start connecting and reaching out.
We are friends on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I think Facebook, and I got to check Instagram too.
Oh yeah, we are.
My age, I'm big on LinkedIn and Facebook,
and
I'm getting there with Instagram.
So, no, you're doing great. As long as we're connected everywhere, that's perfect.
Yes. What are the new things? Threads, is that going to take off?
I think it's done now at this point.
Is it done?
We'll see in the future while we're watching this back.
They were trying to be like Twitter, like Facebook was trying to be like, is it kind of
I think the biggest ones that I've noticed is YouTube and LinkedIn. A lot of opportunity. Obviously TikTok because you can reach so many people,
TikTok, of course,
the most credible, YouTube and LinkedIn, are really my favorite right now.
And what I'm finding, people that are successful have some way to stand out, right? I was turned on yesterday by my daughter to Nick I'm forgetting his last name, but he's the dancing weatherman. Do you know about this
Oh,
guy?
no. Oh, wait a minute. On TikTok.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
He, as he's giving the weather, he's like, he's dancing, and he's a really good dancer.
There you go. Memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, but out of all weathermen, I'm going to remember him, right? So,
Yeah.
So how can you be memorable? We're giving away some gold tips here, folks. Come on, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Well, Leah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
Truly
you.
appreciate it. It's really fun that I had a show with your mom years ago, and now you
Passing the
are
torch.
our guest on my show. Maybe we'll do a show together someday. You never know.
Is this a teaser? Don't give out the announcement.
Stay tuned. Well, Leah, thanks again. I wish you continued massive success.
Thank you.
And that's I know we're going to keep in good touch. So.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
David.
thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please, this episode was super fantastic. Please share it. As I say, the high tide raises all the ships. We're trying to help everybody get better at what they do, optimizing their business, their workplace culture, their leadership, their sales, their journey, having the courage to optimize their journey. Thank you so much. Make sure to have a great day and stay awesome.